GearNetwork.com.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm here to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by our store through Amazon. If you visit GearNetwork.com and click on the Amazon banner, it will take you directly to Amazon.com, and you can do all of your Amazon shopping. If you want it, Amazon has it at often the greatest prices, and it can be delivered right to your front door. And when you use it, you tell Amazon that we're referring you to them for your shopping, so they kick the network back a little something to help out with our production costs. There legitimately is no extra cost to you, and this legitimately helps out the Gear Network when you shop through our link. That's on GearNetwork.com. Click the Amazon banner, bookmark, save, and share. If you use it, please accept our thanks. If you do not use it, please consider doing so. Again, that is GearNetwork.com, and click on the Amazon banner at the top.
Say, Jarvis, is it that time?
The house party protocol, sir?
Correct.
This is one party that just has to turn out right.
My name is Rod, and I like to party.
Why do you want to listen to the TV with the stereo on?
Because I like to party.
I would like to extend to you an invitation to the pants party.
Brick, are you saying that there's a party in your pants and that I'm invited?
That's it.
Hello, I'm Rico, and I like to party.
Okay, nobody parties but me.
Yes. And we party.
No.
Yeah, just Rod.
Yes.
And me.
No. I'm the only one who parties.
Hey, my friend Jackson Smart, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, though I'm a little bit tired.
And why would you be tired? It seems to be, it's really early in the morning, right?
Well, technically it is early in the morning, but we've been up all day. It's 3 a.m. and we're driving back from Excite Wrestling in Binghamton, New York.
And how was your thoughts on that tonight? That was the memorial tribute show to Robert Spike Norton, who passed away abruptly in a car accident. And now we were throwing a show tonight with all proceeds going to his family. How did you enjoy the show tonight?
I thought it was a great show. I never met Spike Norton. He seemed like a nice guy from what I've been told. Johnny Moose cut together a fantastic tribute package that made everybody cry. And I feel like if the dude was as cool as everybody says he was, I never met the dude. If he was as cool as everybody says he was, I feel like they put on a great show for him as tribute.
Good. And I'm glad that they drew the big enough house that they did to be able to give all the money to help pay for, the funeral expenses. I think it was something that was definitely necessary.
Yeah. But sometimes, that stuff helps. Every little bit helps when people die.
Absolutely. And so let's get into Jackson Smart himself. Who are you and where did you come from?
I was conceived in the parking lot of the Dallas Sportatorium.
Really?
Yes. That really means that I know a thing or two about wrestling. My parents weren't necessarily wrestling fans. There wasn't necessarily a wrestling show going on when I was conceived. Money may have exchanged hands. But the point is that greatness seeped into my being. Knowledge about wrestling seeped into my being when I was conceived.
What conceived and it got into your being, but what possessed you at some point to become a manager, going from being a fan to wanting to step over the line and really try to push yourself into being a manager and being involved in the wrestling world?
Well, I'm not a manager per se. I'm more of a social media advisor and accredited life coach. So I wouldn't say that I manage anybody, really. I coach them from a lifestyle perspective. And I help fellows with their social media. You yourself have learned wonders from my social media marketing skills.
Yep. I'm starting to learn how to brand myself to make myself more than just me.
Yeah, you got to make yourself a guy. You really have to, put yourself out there, put your character out there, put everything out there. And that's what I help guys do.
Wonderful. And so, was it just like a random show or some thought, or it's always been building up? This is something you wanted to do?
Oh, I've always loved wrestling. I've loved wrestling since A, I was conceived. But B, I think my earliest memory of professional wrestling was I was 4 years old, and my siblings, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and all my siblings are a fair amount older than me. And we lived in a small town, and a wrestling show came to town. I wanted to go. I really, really wanted to go. But my mom couldn't go. And so, me being the baby, I was like 4 years old, and my older siblings weren't old enough to, like, watch me, to take me. So all 4 of my older siblings got to go, but I couldn't go. And I was livid. I was an angry little 4-year-old. So I stayed home and did my thing. And then all my siblings came back, and they were like, oh, it was the best thing ever. This is awesome. We're going to watch wrestling all the time now. And then we started watching wrestling all the time now.
Back in the day, who was some of the favorites for you that you were watching at the time?
Oh, God. I've always loved the bad guys. Rick Rude was...
The man.
He was fucking amazing, dude. The shtick... so the angle of him and Jake Roberts, when Rick Rude debuted the first... I believe Jake Roberts' wife was the first of the airbrushed lady faces on his crotch.
Yeah.
Pretty certain Jake Roberts' wife was the first.
I think so.
I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I don't even know. But that just blew my mind away that he could be so mean and so insinuating that this guy's... Because I knew it was a show. I was a little kid, but I still knew it was a show. But that was like, to me, that was like over the line. Like, how is he putting that man's wife's face on his crotch and then gyrating his crotch? And I just was tickled. I just giggled every time I saw that. It was so ridiculous and amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I love Rick Rude. He's one of my favorites. Very underrated. Never got a chance to win that championship.
Great wrestlers don't need championships.
This is true, but it would have been nice. A nice little validation of him being one of the elite.
Hey, Kurt Hennig only had what? The IC strap?
He's another one too.
Yeah, but I mean, you didn't. Guys don't need belts to be great. For people to know that they're great, it helps.
Yeah, no, I understand. A belt is not needed with any of the best wrestlers to be able to get them over. But I'm talking more like just that validation, just knowing that. I don't know.
Spit it out, son.
No, I don't know. Just, I don't know. Moving on. So with the wrestling, how did you come to be with the wrestling itself? You came, as far as I know, to UPW in Rochester, New York, and then you got connected through Mad Dog Bobby Rogers to get to me to be able to start training. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do. So I went to a show last year, maybe. It was one of the anniversary shows. Jeff Jarrett was at the show.
Last year.
And I love Jeff Jarrett. Always love watching Jeff Jarrett. Always liked the bad guys. He was always a great bad guy. And I used to, when I was a fan, I used to just love shouting at people. And
who doesn't?
Yeah, some people don't. I don't know.
Good shout.
Good shout. I like booing guys. When I was a fan, I would always boo guys. When I lived in Texas, there's a small show called XCW. They ran every Fridays. All my boys and I went there, and it was like our church. And I would boo, like these big boos, so much and so loud that the other fans would call me. They would say, "Hey, boo guy, good job booing people." I was like, "Yeah, thanks. I'm just here to boo."
You became a character strictly on your boo.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I heard Jeff Jarrett was going to be in town. I was like, screw it. I want to go boo this motherfucker. So I went and I booed the motherfucker. And I got a little liquored up and I was swearing at him. And he looked right out at me and he pointed right at me. He said, "Hey, you shut your mouth. This is a family show." Because I was swearing at him. And then so like the next month I went to a UPW show. And I was like, this is okay. But I could do this. I can't wrestle. I'm a big tubbalard. You know, I don't pretend to be a wrestler. I was like, I could be involved in the show. I can do stuff. And as for my job, I'm like a graphic designer. So I do graphic design, video marketing, and all sorts of cool, fun stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just walked up to Mad Dog Bobby Rogers, who was the manager at UPW. I was like, hey, sir, I would like to learn how to manage. And in exchange for, you know, graphic design and marketing skills, because every indie promotion needs marketing. I mean, you need to promote. It's literally in the name. Wrestling promotion, you promote. You know, and that's what I do. I help companies promote, I help companies market. I was like, screw it, I'll help these guys out in exchange for some sort of, like, you know, the inside scoop. You know, the straight dope. The 411. And so I learned a lot from Mad Dog, and he introduced me to you, and learned a lot about the professional wrestling business. And as much as I wanted to be a manager, I realized that's not who I am. I'm not a manager. I am an accredited life coach, for Crepe's sake.
You do change lives.
So why try to be a professional wrestling manager when I can truly benefit independent professional wrestlers by changing lives and teaching them about not only social media strategy, but life affirming, life goals, life affirmations, positive thinking. That's what I do.
Really try to help and change people's lives.
I want to change lives. I want to touch everyone.
It take a while. There's a lot of people in this world.
I want to touch a lot of people. I don't have to touch everybody, but I just like touching people.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And nowadays, with so much content out there and so much information, I'm kind of curious and wanting to know who your top 3 wrestlers and or managers or just people in the wrestling world that you either look up to, look to emulate, or look to use as guidance towards you as Jackson Smart.
Current people or people of all time?
Anytime.
I don't know these people, so it's not like they give me personal guidance.
Yep.
But I've always been a huge fan of Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
So I can never get enough Bobby Heenan in my life. I will, on rainy days, I'll just throw on YouTube or throw on the network and just watch Bobby Heenan matches. Because that guy he was, until, 4 months ago, I used to think he was the best manager ever.
So 4 months ago? Why 4 months?
4 or 5 months ago, if you remember correctly, sir, a very large and scary man with a penis tattoo on his chest named Brock Lesnar was the WWE champion. And he didn't always go to the shows because he's a farmer. He likes to be a farmer. He doesn't want to travel around the country going to wrestling shows. So he had his advocate, also not a professional wrestling manager, Paul Heyman, who is an advocate, come to shows. And Paul Heyman made me care about a match that I thought was just going to be absolute garbage, the match between Brock Lesnar and Reno Riggins. Oh my Lord, Paul Heyman made me care about that match. So every week I'd watch Raw on my DVR, fast forward through all the garbage, and then as soon as Paul Heyman would come out, I'd pause it.
Yeah.
Put down whatever sometimes I'll throw Raw on. I work from home, so sometimes I'll throw Raw on and do work with it in the background.
Yeah.
But as soon as Paul Heyman comes on, I just close my computer and just listen intently to what he has to say. And then I'd sometimes, more often than not, rewind it and listen to it again. Because the man is so good at cutting promos, so good at engaging the audience, pulling you in, telling you not just what's been happening, not just what's going to happen, but really selling people on why you need to watch the match that's going to come up. He sells tickets. He sells network subscriptions. And I don't think, maybe only once or twice, did he actually stoop to the whole $9.99 shtick, which we all loved. I mean, the $9.99 shtick was hilarious when they did it all last year.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think he really stooped to that much because he has such a masterful command of the language and such a masterful command of the promo game. But he's been in the business for like 40 years. So, Jesus Christ, that guy knows so much.
Yeah.
And that's it for the most part. I mean, lately, I've really been enjoying, until he started doing even once he got into the thing with Kevin Owens, John Cena's promos, his modern promos in the last 3 or 4 months are glorious. Because John Cena, and I hate saying this because Michael Cole says it so much that it's like, it's almost like a buzz phrase, but John Cena is like the most divisive wrestler. But that motherfucker, he can take an entire crowd, half of which hates him, half of which loves him, and he can take the entire crowd on a little trip. And they're going to go with him. And by the end of the little trip he takes them on, they're going to do exactly what he says.
Oh, yeah. And he's one of the few people that can get both cheers and boos louder than most of the crowd.
Oh, yeah. And he's so good at what he does, he can take the people that boo him and change what they say. The promo that he cut 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think right after Kevin Owens debuted on the main roster and attacked him, I think the following week he came out and they were selling the match between the two of them at the pay-per-view and at the Elimination Chamber. And he got the crowd to chant, instead of chant, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," to "Let's go Cena, fight Owens, fight." He literally told them to say that. But he didn't just walk out and say, "Hey, so you guys that like me, you keep doing your thing. You guys that don't like me, I want you to cheer for Kevin Owens, okay?" No, he didn't do that. But that's basically all he did. He took them for a ride, and by the end of the fucking cab ride, they were all in the palm of his hand. And the fans that like the smart marks just hate John Cena so much. I hate John Cena so much. Like they were doing what he said.
That's the beauty of it.
It's amazing. Love that stuff. But I mean, that's just like modern stuff. I mean, the Heyman and the John Cena stuff is just like, that's just like promo stuff. But as far as like actually like being out helping, advising my guys during matches and coaching my guys' lives during matches, that's all Heenan. Because that guy, I mean, Heyman's great on the mic. Heyman's got great promos. His body language isn't the best at ringside. But Heenan just had it. He just had it. Top to bottom. Everything he did. And the more I watch him, the more I realize he was a lot more comedy-based.
Yep. With the Weasel and whatnot?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, sometimes he just got vicious. Sometimes there was vicious stuff. I remember when I was a kid, and I think I'm misremembering it. I need to go back and find it. Because I know Ken Patera was part of the Heenan family. But I just had this bizarrely vivid recollection of Bobby Heenan getting mad at Ken Patera. And at the time, I thought Ken Patera was a good guy. I might be misremembering it. But somebody took off a belt. Or no, they took Ken Patera's weightlifting belt, handcuffed him to the ropes, and just beat him with it. Just whipped him with a weightlifting belt.
Jesus.
And I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I was like, oh my God, why are they doing this? This is horrible. And I was like, at the time, I was like right on the cusp of figuring it out.
Uh-huh.
Figuring out that there was a bit of a show involved.
Yep.
And because my brothers would always say, no, it's fake, man. Look, it's not really punching him. I'm like, no, he's really fucking punching him, dude. And they just whipped the shit out of him. I was like, no, this is totally real. I think that's really the only time Bobby Heenan's really been a dick. Other than that, it's all comedy.
That's true.
You know, he only had a slight mean streak now and then.
When he had to be, when he got desperate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to ask one question because we're actually flying through this and we're getting kind of close to the finish already. But what I want to go through and ask you is the question I ask everybody. If there is one thing you could change about independent wrestling or the pro wrestling scene as a whole, what would it be? And why?
Oh, goodness. That's a tough question.
One thing?
Just one thing? There's so many minor things. I love wrestling and I hate wrestling at the same time. So basically, I'm going to have to figure out why I hate wrestling and then change it. You know what really bugs me about wrestling?
What?
Is shindy wrestling and shindy promoters. Guys that don't really care about putting on a good show. They just want to make some money. But they don't know how to market. And they don't know how to promote. And they're just bitter and angry. And there's no place in wrestling for anger and bitterness. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is only a place in wrestling for anger and bitterness. I don't know. I really just dislike shitty fucking promoters.
Agreed. Don't we all?
Yeah, so if we could kill them.
Or just have people stop working for free for shitheads that won't pay you.
No, just kill them.
I mean, you could take that route. You'd go to jail for a while.
No, I would do it like a ninja.
But you're telling me you're going to do it.
I'm not saying I will. But, like, that's, like, what I would change is, like, have a ninja assassinate shindy promoters.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But then again,
guys,
there'd be too many free agents out there.
What do you mean? Too many free Asians?
Agents.
Yeah, Asians. That's what you said.
Okay.
What's wrong with free Asians?
No, you have too many free agents. Not Asians. Agents. If you shut down shitty companies and,
Yeah, and then all the shitty workers that work for shitty companies don't work anymore.
No, they'd go to the better companies, and the better companies would realize they're the only market in town and not pay them.
No.
Thus, the issue continues.
No. If you cut out the shitty promoters, then you cut out the shitty wrestlers.
No, because the wrestlers can go try to get work elsewhere at a good reputable company.
But they won't because they're shitty.
It depends on the company and how many tickets they're looking to sell and who they know. There's a lot more that goes into that, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah. If I got a guy who is trained, coming from out of town, and I have to pay him to wrestle, or I can take 3 dudes that have no wrestling ability, have been wrestling for 5 to 7 years apiece locally, but can push 20 tickets. Which are you going to take?
How big of a draw is the guy you have to pay from out of town?
And I'll add an extra 50 seats, 50 asses to seats.
So, you're saying there's a net gain of 10 tickets.
Yep.
Depends on how bad the guys are.
Okay.
Because if you go the route of, hey, can you sell a bunch of tickets and you have a free spot, even though you suck, you become the problem. You become that shitty promoter.
Of course. Absolutely agree, but it's one of those issues that is forever ongoing, and I don't see it really changing.
Kill them with assassins, ninja assassins.
Well, then you go get an assassin, and we won't tell anybody that you're going to kill people.
Yeah, this isn't for broadcast, is it?
This is for confidential.
Yeah, it's confidential, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But that was it. I just wanted to be able to kind of see who you are, what, where you came from, what you like, and certain things that really irk you in wrestling nowadays. But we'll see it much more from you because you're making a big break for yourself and you're really just opening the floodgates, taking opportunities, and getting your name out there. So if we'd like, how do we get a hold of you so that we can either tweet you, Facebook you, like your Instagram photos, anything?
I don't yet have an Instagram, but you can tweet me at The Jackson Smart. That's TheJacksonsmart. That's my Twitter. I'm on there a bit, probably 4 or 5 times a week. Just gotta, put out the rounds.
Nice. Well, again, thank you for traveling with me and allowing me to speak with you. It's been really fun this week.
No, thank you, Mark. Thank you for allowing me to coach your life.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Jackson Smart. It was a wonderful conversation that we had with him, and I'm looking forward to see what he's going to be doing in the future. He's only just begun his journey, and I hope that you join me in watching him grow. And now, a word from our sponsors. Being a villain was always considered a bad thing. Not anymore with American Villain Apparel. Come on down to 1868 East Main Street in Rochester, New York. Or if you can't get to them, you can find them online at www.americanvillainapparel.com. The clothing is top-notch and the people are even better. Shirts, hoodies, hats, and even more at American Villain. Get yours today.
All right, party's over. Everyone go home.
So who are you, man? Shit!
I'm the party pooper.
Now, let's think back. What made this party such a good one? What do we want to do next time?
They're begging us. Please have a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid. Ow!
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network. Hey, Dawn, how's it going?
Living the dream. I'm actually just getting ready to do this commercial.
Oh, you mean the commercial where I tell our listeners to tune into Gear Network every week to listen to our show, Get Ready America? That one?
Yeah, John, that's the one.
They can also listen to us talk about news, sports, whatever's on our minds, that.
And a little of what's on our listeners' minds, but they're just too nice to say it.
Well, that, Dawn, is a real humdinger.
Humdinger.
Come join us this and every week for Get Ready America exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.
And the Gear Network app.
Ryan Wolf here, the host of the Better Live Than Dead podcast. Join my co-host, Mr. Perez, and myself as we talk the latest and greatest through the sports world. For the latest, check us out on Facebook.com/BLTD podcast and hear us each and every week exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.